All characters and events in this story are entirely fictional. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. This content is created for entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. No harm or offense is intended toward any individual or group. This content may include AI-generated visuals, voices, or elements. This story is an original work.
Imagine a world where nothing can ever truly end. Not your life, not your story, not even you. What happens when everyone is partially complete? When everyone is partially complete, nothing truly ends. This is the revelation that arrives last, not as prophecy, not as judgment, but as an operational summary. At first, partial completion feels survivable, a manageable weight, a quiet subtraction. Each person carries a fragment that is not theirs, a grief concluded on someone else's behalf, a rite finished out of turn, a life eased across a threshold it did not reach alone. The system calls this efficiency. Society calls it resilience. But completion is not additive. It is exclusive. A process can only finish once. Over time, the fragments begin to interfere. Memories blur, not randomly, but procedurally. People recall endings they did not live. They feel relief unearned, sorrow misplaced, closure without origin. Identity does not shatter. It thins. Individuals remain functional, articulate, compliant, but increasingly interchangeable. Not because they are identical, but because each contains unfinished parts of many others. Personal boundaries lose mechanical relevance. You cannot tell where one life ends, because no life ever fully does. Eventually, birth produces beings already burdened. Children enter the world with inherited partial closures embedded in them. Not memories, not trauma, but procedural debt. They age faster emotionally, tire earlier spiritually, stabilize sooner than they should. Innovation slows, art loops, risk becomes mathematically unattractive. Why create new endings when so many old ones are still unresolved? And then, the final condition emerges. There are no longer any whole participants left. Every living person is partially resolved. Every dead person has been partially assisted. Every threshold crossing has been distributed. At that point, the system reaches equilibrium. Not balance as harmony, balance as stagnation. This is when Anubis stops appearing. Not because he is gone, not because he has failed, because there is nothing left for him to verify. The scale remains perfectly balanced, permanently so. No tilt, no backlog, no movement. Process has replaced passage. Life continues, but only as maintenance. Death occurs, but never fully. Meaning persists, but cannot conclude. The final truth, when everyone is partially complete, no one can finish. No one can begin cleanly. Nothing can be fully judged, forgiven, or released. The universe does not collapse. It stabilizes into inertia. This is not punishment. This is not mercy. This is what happens when a system designed for discrete endings is optimized until endings themselves are no longer allowed. And somewhere, unseen, unneeded, the scale remains level, perfect, forever. Because at last, there is nothing left that can move it.